what? I'm gonna close all this shit. I really should have left one of those open. Oh well. Okay, I typically don't actually turn the monitor on, mainly because the audio delay. What's annoying is I'll turn the monitor on, and I can hear myself even with the headphones on. I can hear myself, so it's fine. But I have the headphones on so I can hear the music and the bounce and whatnot. And the software gives me a monitor option. And when I turn that monitor on, I will speak, but there's a delay. I mean, it's a fraction of a second, but it's still a delay. And it drives me nuts because it throws me off. Okay, that's not too bad. That one's actually okay. It sounds... We'll see if we can work with this. I'm not sure I'll leave it, but you never know. Although for reference sake, it does help. I think... No, I'll leave it. I'm changing a few things, and I'm gonna turn that off because it's fucking me up. Okay, there we go. And that's all fine. Okay. No, that's all good. Monetization is on. Okay. I apologize. I'm screwing around with some settings here real quick. We'll get started. I am just kind of trying to kill some time. That way, if there's some people who wanna get in, they can. Okay. Yep, that's all fine. I'm not gonna screw with that. So. Dashboard. Okay, my channel. Okay. And now we share it out. Again, I'm not really expecting a lot of people. To join in, mainly because it's like midnight. 5 past midnight, 6 past midnight, actually. So, I'm just not expecting a lot of people, mainly because, again, like I said, it's like not 2 o'clock. It's midnight. So, all right. All right, guys. Well, I've got the laptop up. That way I can I can reference the chat, although what I think... No, that's fine. This might be a bit of a risk to do this, but... we're actually going to give this a shot. And I'm actually going to shrink. I'm going to shrink that a little bit. And... Okay, that's as small as that's going to get. Okay. Well, on the upside, I can mute the audio on this, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. Okay, well, this is a little bit of an experiment, so I will go back and watch it and find out if this actually works or not. So if you guys are hearing a doubling effect or some weird shit, please put it in the comments for me so I can see your comments, because I do actually read those comments. Sadly, I don't see as many comments as I would like to see, but any comment that is put in there, I do see it, I do read it, and so so please keep that in mind as far as that goes, because again, I do read them. So my water is not here in the room. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my water. I'm gonna be right back. Gab Gabs. Good girl. Good girl. Proud of you. I just wanna make sure I know where you're at. I need to clean off this shit. All right, I'm back. Woohoo! And I got my water, which makes me happy. So, I'm still adjusting to the setup. I'm a little more used to it. A little bit more comfortable as far as things go. So that's a good thing. And I've readjusted some things, so I can't actually see the chat on the one screen. I'm just really hoping there isn't a doubling effect, but I'll find out when I listen to the when I listen to the stream after I'm done. Okay, Gabs, come here, pupper girl. Ah. We need to get you some greenies. Your breath is starting to smell a little. Yeah. So this is Gab Gabs. I don't know how many of you have met and seen Gabs, but this is Gab Gabs. She's actually coming up on her she'll be 3 years old here pretty soon. Yes, you will. Yeah, you're gonna be 3 years old. Yeah. You're gonna be half as old as Hero. Yep. Yes, you are. So, I'm doing this vlog because I like to do the vlogs. Two, even though I may not do any gameplay, I just let you out. I am not gonna let you out again. Not until your mama gets home. When your mama gets home, I'll let you out again. But not until then, okay? But I do need you to just kind of chill on my lap. Can you do that? Yeah? Okay. So, so I spent a portion of the day finishing out, moving, and emptying out the upstairs room for our guests. Whoa. Gabs, I love you, but I can't have you on the cable. For our guests that will be staying with us as of tomorrow. So, they'll be here for 2-ish months. Three at the outside. Anything longer than that, and I'm going to have to yell and scream and boot them out. But 2, they're only staying for the summer, and the summer is gonna be over in about 2 or 3 months anyways. So they'll grown long in the tooth and worn out their welcome by then. So, well, that's not entirely true. They won't have worn out their welcome, but they'll need to go somewhere else at that point. So so yeah, but the more important thing, especially to me, is that Hero will be here tomorrow. His foster mom sent me an email wanting to make sure that we were still on for tomorrow at noon, and I said yes, we are still on. And then I reminded her, as far as like payment goes, I reminded her about something, so hopefully that won't create an issue. It might delay when I get Hero by a couple weeks, but other than that, it's not. I don't think it'll create. I don't think it'll create any issues. So, and after I got done cleaning out the room, sorry, I'm bouncing. I'm tired. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, basically, the house is in order. The house is clean to my the house is clean pretty much to my level of clean, which makes me happy. There's a few things here and there that are not quite where I want them, cleanliness wise, but it'll have to do, because again. Wife has. I have given wife veto power. Of course, and wives usually have veto power, but it's a matter of whether the husband is actually smart enough to listen to the veto or not. I try to be. Normally, because whenever Tommy vetoes something, it's usually because I push too hard. I push too hard all the damn time, and unfortunately, because of my MS, I can't push the same way that I used to. I've got to be careful about how hard I push, because if I push too hard, I end up hurting really badly, and usually it ends up being hurting for usually day of and day after, and sometimes a little longer than that. So. And again, sometimes just longer. So that's kind of the main thing is Hero will be here tomorrow for his home visit, and if everything goes well, like I said, Hero will officially become part of the family. There is one other hurdle other than not being able to pay for Hero until the 27th. Is that we only have a partially fenced yard. And that has to do with the fact that we're in a condo and they only fence the left and right side. And they do not do a fully enclosed fence. I wish they did, but they don't. So, and if I want to do, so I may end up having to wait till the 27th because I don't get paid till then anyways, because I may need to put up a temporary fence. But I don't have the money to do that, at least not until the 27th. So that might be the only other thing that I can think of that might create an issue as far as that goes. Excuse me. So what else did I do today? Wife is doing her KJ thing. So sorry, I've got Gabs. Gabs is in my lap, and I'm petting her, and I found one of her spots. So, I was playing some KOTOR on the first one, the Knights of the Old Republic, the first game, and because I've got 20-something hours of replay to do, because unfortunately my my save game doesn't do a cloud save. It only does a local save. So anytime I uninstall the game off of a computer and reinstall it, if I get a new computer, I've got to start from the beginning. Like my laptop, if I started playing Knights of the Old Republic on my laptop, I would have to start a new game because it like I said, it doesn't do a cloud save. Which is a little disappointing considering that it's a Steam game, but that's okay. The nice thing about replaying games is that you can, especially off camera, you can go back through and do some things that you missed that you typically wouldn't do on camera because you don't want to spoil some things or show everything on camera. So that's always nice. Is being able to go back. The other advantage is you're able to get further faster because you're not recording. You're not focusing on balancing out things. You're also not having to refigure things out or anything like that. You've already played through it, so you're just going through and doing the things that you need to do, and you're not wasting time or as much time. The other advantage is I can level grind a little bit, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, with the Knights of the Old Republic games, level grinding is difficult. If you want to level grind, you have to do a lot. You have to do all of this, a good portion or all of the side quests, the non-important stuff, in order to really truly level. So it becomes a little more difficult the further in the game you get, because it's just the XP required in between levels, just as you go up, that number becomes a larger and larger number, and so it becomes more difficult to level because of that factor. So so there's that. So I did that. I did that. So I started getting caught up. I'm hoping to be fully caught up to where I can start streaming the game again. I'm hoping by late next week is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a late next week where I can start restreaming, and I'm really excited about that because I'm using the OBS software, the Open Broadcast software, and since I've switched back to it, because I did actually use it before, and I honestly had a horrendous time using it and got very upset with the software and had a lot of problems with the software, and so I did a search for other software, and I was using Game Show for a while. And Game Show's not a bad software. But I was having extreme streaming issues. Try saying that 3 times fast. So I was getting frustrated because I would try and stream something, and even with a wired connection, I'd lose connection. I would have issues. I'd be better off just recording and then uploading, but I was starting to even having issues there, to where I would start recording and it wouldn't record, or it was recording and then I would end up losing the recording. So I'd end up the progress that I had made on camera, I'd end up losing because the software just fucked up. So I was having issues, really bad issues. So I decided, I said, you know what, I'm gonna retry the OBS software. It's free. So I'm gonna retry it. And so since I've gone back to the OBS software, I've been very happy. I've been actually really happy. I've been able to stream without really any issue. Like this, I'm streaming this right now, and other than maybe some drop in some speed here and there, and maybe a drop from 60 frames to 30 frames every now and again, it does what I need it to do, and I'm really happy about it. So now there are definitely some things that I could do as far as my computer goes that would definitely help, and part of that is I would need to find out, I would need to rehunt and reallocate some of the virtual RAM as far as that goes. So right now I don't know how much I've got 12 gigs of RAM on my computer. I don't know how much of it is in VRAM. Typically not a lot. They usually do maybe a gig at best case scenario. If I'm really lucky, 2 gigs. But usually they don't dedicate preset. They usually don't dedicate a lot of stuff into VRAM by default. So I may end up changing how much of my VRAM, how much is dedicated to VRAM. And yeah, I also need to get a graphics card because right now everything is stock. So I need to get a video card. That'll definitely help as far as as far as freeing up things off the motherboard and freeing up the processor a bit, because again, right now everything is running off the again, it's stock, so it's an integrated, everything's integrated into the motherboard. You've got the motherboard, the video card, and the audio card all integrated into one piece of equipment. And for functionality, it works just fine, and there's really not any issues. But when you're doing gaming or you're doing streaming like what I'm doing, or any Let's Player or YouTuber does, you want to try and get as much as you can off the motherboard, off integrated stuff. So ideally what I would like to do, and I've done a little research and I might do a little more digging, although I did find a really solid sound card, is not only do an independent video card, also do an independent sound card. Because again, getting as much off of the motherboard, so the motherboard is just having to deal with the things that the motherboard really truly needs to focus on, which is your processing and your general stuff. It doesn't need to be doing your video and your audio and your processing. It doesn't need to be doing all that. It can do all that, and it's designed to do all of that. However, with everything integrated into one piece of equipment, you do end up with issues. You end up with, a lot of times I end up with lag, or I end up with other issues because everything's all in one. And once I get everything off of all in one and I get things to independent video and independent audio, I'll actually be in a better place, because I should actually see a drastic improvement in overall performance. And you guys should too. You should see an overall improvement once I make those changes. But I've got to invest in those changes. But those changes won't happen until the end of the year. And that's the best case scenario. The video card is definitely something that needs to happen before the end of the year, or by the end of the year, because I'm going to be investing in a video card that allows me to do virtual reality, allows me to do VR, and then I've also got to get a VR set. And I'm probably going to do the HTC Vive is probably what I'm going to do. Because if I remember right, Steam is specifically worked with the HTC Vive. I could be wrong about that. It could be the Oculus Rift. But I don't remember. I'd have to look. But that's, so the end of this year, to the beginning of next year, you will start seeing me do VR content. That's not a maybe. That is a promise to you guys, as I will start doing some VR stuff. I do have a PlayStation. I do have a PlayStation 4, and for finance sake, I may just focus on VR content for the PS4, because the PS4 VR stuff is $400 or $500 to invest in it, And then I've still got to get a capture card that I plug into that I get for my desktop, so that I can plug in my PlayStation 4, so that any PS4 game that I have I can stream for you guys. And that is important, and it's important for a very specific reason. Mainly because I am a horrendously huge Final Fantasy fan, avidly Final Fantasy. If there's a Final Fantasy out there, I've either played it or I've watched people play it, and I'm familiar with it. With very few exceptions, there are a few that I'm not familiar with and I haven't played. A lot of the like the Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, really early Final Fantasies, I haven't played them because they were honestly before my time. And I haven't had a chance to actually invest in them. And go from there. I will be investing in them. But I've got to do it on my PlayStation 3. Mainly because I don't remember, I do not remember Steam having the earlier Final Fantasies, if any of them. I don't remember. I will look, and if they do, I will invest in them, mainly because, again, I love Final Fantasy, and I'll stream and or record those for you guys, so you guys can have those and enjoy those. But the main thing that's coming out at the end of the year is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what's coming out. I don't remember the exact release date. I would have to look. It's still on pre-order right now. But I need to get it. The other Final Fantasy game that I've really actually wanted to go back through and replay is Final Fantasy X. No, not Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy 12. Final Fantasy 12 was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. There were some storyline things I think they could have improved on, so I'm hoping, because they're remaking it for the PS4. So I'm really hoping they're going to go back through and expand on the storyline, is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping they're not just going to remaster it graphics-wise and whatnot. I'm hoping they'll actually remaster and expand on the game, is what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. So I will, so Monday, we'll be doing some Dragon Age. I am going to actually try and do some off-camera stuff. And probably try and level a little here and there. Again, I'm at a point where experience is few and far between, so I've really got to hit a lot of the side quests. I've also got to improve my my relationships with a couple of my characters, especially Zevran. I need to improve with Zevran because there's in Denerim, if you travel to one of the other areas, there's a sequence that happens, and if you do not have a strong enough relationship with Zevran, he will betray you. So I've got to get my relationship high enough with him to where he won't betray me, is what I need to do. So I've got to work on that. So that's kind of the game plan. The game plan is to get things back up to where I'm streaming Knights of the Old Republic for you guys. We're gonna be finishing up Dragon Age. Dragon Age 1, or Dragon Age Origins, more specifically, will wrap up next week. That is not a question. It will wrap up next week. Because honestly, we're either one really long playthrough to the end, or we're two, maybe three. So somewhere in between Monday and Thursday, somewhere in between there, we will be wrapping up Dragon Age Origins. And then we've got to wait till the 27th, because I've got to talk the wife into letting me buy, or EA has a membership thing that allows you access to like all of the games. So I've got to look into that. I've got to look into the pricing and see if the wife will let me do that. The reason I say I've got to see if the wife will let me do that is because we are going to Florida in August, and our budget is very tight right now because we're throwing pretty close to all of our finances into it. Short of the bills that we have to pay, so rent, utilities, we've got to pay those, and like maybe one or two others. But short of rent and utilities, we're throwing everything we've got into this because it has to happen, plain and simple. It has to happen, and so we're gonna make it happen. So that that's what we're doing. So, anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It is always appreciated. Hit that like button down there. Hit the subscribe button. And then don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when I do uploads. So, thank you guys so much for watching. It's always appreciated. And until the next time, this is Panther 0822. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.